Some of you may know this, some of you may have never heard of it, so I'll share it. Neville Goddard had what he called a telephone technique. It's just basically a variation on visualizing something. So, this was his quote. "I have found my telephone technique infallible. It never fails me. One day a friend called to tell me she wanted to take an examination to become a court reporter, giving me 9 reasons why she could never pass the test. I changed every one as I heard it, and when the conversation was finished, I imagined an entirely different one. I heard her tell me she had passed the test with flying colors. My friend took the test, and although during the interval of 6 weeks she remained negative, I continued to believe she had passed. Then one day she called saying, do you remember when I took the test?" And I replied, "Yes, and you passed." Then she said, "Yes, but aren't you surprised?" I've been trying to tell her that imagining creates reality, but she cannot understand how an imaginal act, unseen by the human senses, can be held onto and produce results. But I know it always does. That's a quote by Neville Goddard. So, another interesting part of this was when he said, and although during the interval of 6 weeks she remained negative, I continued to believe she had passed. So this part here is especially useful if you have other people in your life who are reflecting back negative feedback, negative emotions, basically negative scenarios, maybe reflecting back your own doubt, right? Ignore that. Ignore that. Even change it in your mind. Someone comes to you and says, oh, even if it's about you, about them, about something else. Oh, we'll always be broke. Just change that in your mind. You could basically reply to them mentally, oh, that's what you think. You have no idea how rich we really are, how much money, like that. It's kind of like what Neville did with this telephone call. He, in his mind, changed every negative reason she had, and then at the end of it replayed in his mind the conversation in a revised fashion, the correct way, and he remained positive during that entire 6 weeks even though she was negative, and she passed the test. So that can be used really with any scenario. And even you don't even need to use the telephone part. You can leave the telephone part out and just use the rest of it. Do what you want. Right? There's no real rules here, is what I'm trying to tell you. And even kind of what Neville says through his many stories, the telephone technique like this, the ladder exercise, the, what's another one? The eavesdropping technique, that's another one. It doesn't really matter what the so-called technique is. What matters is how you're taking something and revising it and basically living in the end. This is living in the end. That's exactly what he's doing here. It's just calling it something else and giving it a fancy name. And people kind of like that stuff. People are like, oh, look, a new technique. I'm going to use that. Whatever it takes, people. Whatever it takes. But it's really all the same thing. Just live in the end. And whatever makes it easier for you to live in the end, do it. So if the telephone technique is good for you, then use it. I hope this helps. Please like and subscribe. And look at my other videos and go in my playlist. Look at the Neville lectures. I have entire lectures. I have some set to animations. I'm gonna keep plugging my other videos because I have a huge playlist. I also have mind movies. I have mind movies where you can use kaleidoscopes in a relaxed state to visualize things. I have affirmations videos. I've got it all. Go in my video stuff and watch it. Watch it over and over. It's for your benefit. Thank you.